Hello, friends. Welcome to our next family devotional. I'm Reverend Ingrid, and I'm here in my house, in my living room, to share some special time with you and your family. A devotional is a time that we set aside for God that isn't on Sunday mornings. So last week, we set up our sacred space together, a place where we can gather each week to be with one another and with God. And if you were at online church on Sunday, Harriet the horse and I mentioned that over the next several weeks, we're going to be practicing some things that help us grow as disciples, as students of Jesus. Jesus is our Emmanuel, which means God with us. So we know that when we sit down to be with God, God is with us. Now, maybe you already have your sacred space all set up, but before we begin, I want you to go and find something to build with. I have some Lego pieces here, but you could get blocks or cups or books even, anything that you can stack up. Make sure you have at least one piece for each person you're gathered with, but you can get a whole bunch. So maybe just pause the video while you go get those things. Did you get everything? Let's light our candles together. There once was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people began to follow him. But they didn't know who he was, so one day they just simply had to ask him. And he said, "I am the light." We light the candle to remind us that Christ is with us always. Now, every week, we are doing 5 things together. We call them the Faith 5. Remember, we've got share, read, talk, pray, and bless. We call these the Faith 5, and I will be guiding us for these weeks ahead, but anytime you want to do them with your family, video or not, you can do them. So let's begin with share. We begin by sharing our highs and our lows, the best and worst parts of our day or our week. I'll start, and then I'll get you to pause the video and share as a family or as a group one at a time. My high was meeting up with some friends at the park yesterday. The rain had stopped, but the wind was still howling. It was blowing so hard. And one of my friends shared that when the wind blows like that, they feel like it's God going, shh, helping to calm us down, like a parent does when they're trying to calm a baby, going, shh. And I felt really comforted by that. Now, the low probably is that I'm really missing my grandma a lot. I love thinking of her, but I feel really far away from her right now, so that's my low. Go ahead and pause and share together. If you're watching this video on your own, pause and share your high and low with God. Next in our Faith 5 is read. Today we're going to read from the New Testament. It's from the Gospel of Luke. It's a passage about prayer, and it goes like this. Jesus was praying in a certain place, and after he had finished, one of his disciples said to him, "Lord, teach us to pray." And so he said to them, "When you pray, say, 'Our Father, who art in heaven.'" You know this one. If you know it, follow along. And if not, listen. See if it's familiar from church. "Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." You know what? That's actually all Jesus said. But in the church, all through history and all around the world, we add in, "For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen." I wonder what the Spirit has to say to us today with this reading. Thanks be to God. Now the next part of our Faith 5 is talk. It's where we share how the Bible reading might apply to our own lives, our own highs or lows, or any other thoughts we have. So I can share, and then I'll invite you to pause the video and share together. I really love this reading because some days I feel too grumpy or too busy or too distracted to pray. And on those days, I will pray the prayer that Jesus taught us. Sometimes we call it the Lord's Prayer, or we call it the Our Father prayer. And I know that I can use those words to connect with God, and that it is also connecting me with Christians, disciples of Jesus all around the world, who are praying those words in different places and different languages. Why don't you pause the video now and share any thoughts you had about this reading, and maybe how it would apply to your high and low, or anything else that you notice about it. The next part of our Faith 5 is pray. I'm going to invite you to pray together, and you can take turns praying for each other's highs and lows, or you can pray for others, or you can even say the Lord's Prayer together. But this is where the Lego or the blocks or whatever you gathered at the beginning is going to come in handy. As each person prays, they can add a brick or a block, and the more people, places, or things you pray for, the bigger the prayer creation will be. I'll do one here on my own, and then you can pause the video and do one on your own. Dear God, I begin my prayer today by thanking you for all the ways that you love us so well. You are a solid foundation. Thank you too for my family, God. I pray for Todd and Ella and Xander, and my mom Lauma, our dog Taz. We always have enough to eat, but I just pray for all those who don't have enough to eat today. May they find food, and we have a beautiful, wonderful place to live. It is warm and dry and safe. I pray today for all those people who don't have that. May they find shelter. And I am so filled up with love today, God, but not everyone feels love. So I ask that you send your love to all those people who are lonely. Send your comfort to all those people who are afraid. Pray, God, for peace in the world, that there would be an end to fighting and war. And I want to celebrate the beauty of today. It is sunny and wonderful, and I can't wait to get outside. And I pray also for the children of the world and the grannies of the world and grandpas and the great grandmas and grandpas and all of the wonderful aunts and uncles, even if they're not related by blood. They are wonderful. Amen. Now you try. The final piece of our Faith 5 is bless. Before we go, we're going to receive a blessing from me, and I hope that you will bless one another. A blessing is a reminder that we are loved and cared for by God, and that God will never leave us. Remember, there are lots of different ways to do this. And so you might want to hold the hand of the person you're blessing, or you can mark the sign of the cross on their forehead or their hand, or you can hold up your hands towards them like this. So here is your blessing, and after the video is complete, I invite you to bless one another. Precious child of God, you are loved. You are so loved. You are so loved more than you can even imagine, and there is nothing, nothing, nothing that will ever break that love that God has for you. Go in peace. Amen.